afternoon from the ACSA newsroom in Sacramento as we bring you details of Governor Jerry Brown's proposed $122.6 billion budget released earlier today at the state capitol that includes funding increases for California public education. In the budget, there is $1.2 billion in one-time discretionary funds to be spent at the discretion of LEAs to pay down mandates. There's $2.8 billion for LCFF implementation, and Proposition 98 funding sits at $71.6 billion. ACSA Executive Director Wes Smith says there is one very important element to this budget that lawmakers and voters must consider. That is providing California public education with a permanent funding source.
We all have to be very, very concerned about the sunsetting of Prop 30. This budget assumes that sunsetting, and that's billions of dollars coming out of public education funding in California. And as advocates for students, we have to be concerned about that. Even with Prop 30, we are still only 42 out of 50 in per pupil spending in California. We're the 8th largest economy in the world. And so at ACSA, we are willing and at the ready to work with lawmakers and the governor and student advocates to find a long-term, adequate, stable funding system in California that isn't based on tax gimmicks that are short-term in nature. A long-term plan to make sure that our students receive everything they need moving forward.
This budget proposal comes out after Mac Taylor, California's legislative analyst, released his fiscal outlook for 2016-2017. The LAO believes California will end fiscal year 2016-2017 with more than $11 billion in reserves. And if the economy continues to grow through 2019-2020, annual operating surpluses and larger reserves could materialize. That economic growth could lead to opportunities for new budget commitments. He cautions that an economic downturn could occur during that period, but California is more prepared for that potential downturn compared to other decades. A lot happening at the Capitol this morning. That is why we bring in ACSA's Governmental Relations Director, Edgar Zazueta, to give us some insight into what this budget proposal contains. Edgar, give us some details on what you're seeing.
Yeah, sure, Naj, thanks. It's still early, but by all accounts, it looks like it's another good news budget for our schools and for education as a whole. The governor continues to sustain his commitment to the local control funding formula. And again, we're going to see some one-time discretionary dollars to our schools. And I think that's important because we've always made the argument that those closest to the students should have discretion on how to spend those funds. So that's definitely good news.
And of course, the budget is a very large document. But from what you have read up to this point, any surprises?
Yeah, no huge surprises. I think a couple things to note is, one, the governor does point out that we're almost 95% towards full implementation of LCFF, which on one hand, that is great news. That again is a reflection that the governor has stayed to his commitment of fully implementing LCFF. On the other hand, I think it's a reminder to the state and to our policymakers that we need to have a serious conversation about funding adequacy. LCFF was supposed to be about distribution, not about increasing the pot. And now that our schools are pretty much getting all the money they're going to get under LCFF, we know that that's still not enough. So it is a reminder that we do need to have that serious conversation about adequacy. The only other significant, I think, proposal that we'll have to dig in and look at the details is this proposal to consolidate programs that benefit early childhood education. I think we take solace that the governor has pointed out the importance of early ed, something that's very important to our members. On the other hand, we will have to see what the impact of just consolidating programs means. And it doesn't appear that that means that there's any new infusion of funds, just simply that they're giving us more flexibility with the money that we already get.
All right, that is Edgar Zazueta, the Governmental Relations Director for the Association of California School Administrators. Edgar, thanks so much for being with us. And Edgar's governmental relations team will be going through the budget throughout the day. They will have an analysis coming up for you. You can see that right here at ACSA.org. And that is our broadcast for the afternoon. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Naj Alikhan from ACSA headquarters in Sacramento. Remember, education, news, and information available 24 hours a day here at ACSA.org. Cool?